there is a viral video, a super, super duper viral video that, well, is going viral. Obviously, that's what the name entails. And it's of a young woman named Pearl Davis, who is arguing that we should repeal the 19th Amendment. The 19th Amendment gives women the right to vote. So I want to talk about this video. It's a very interesting video. And I know she's gotten backlash from the left. People on the left are calling her a misogynist. People on the right are calling her ignorant. I don't agree with either of these two takes. I actually find this girl to be somewhat interesting, even though I don't agree with her. I don't think we should repeal the 19th Amendment. She is doing something that a lot of people are afraid to do. And that is she's discussing an idea. She's discussing an idea, and that's something it's almost taboo in our society right now to discuss ideas, let alone edgy ideas. We're told by the left that if we so much as debate a political policy, then we're hateful and we're bigots and we're xenophobes and transphobes and whatever other insult they're using on that particular day to describe us, militia, violent extremists, or domestic terrorists, just parents. But we're not allowed to discuss ideas, let alone edgy ideas. And this is a very dangerous place for our nation to be in, where we can't discuss ideas. Because if you can't discuss ideas, then you're never going to anticipate the repercussions or the consequences of a policy, because a policy is based on an idea. So whether this is a political policy or just a cultural norm, a cultural idea, if we can't discuss things that might be wrong, we're not going to be able to discern what is the best policy, what is the best thing that we should do. It's actually similar to when there's leaks that come from the White House, from inside the White House. This happened a lot during the Trump administration. And they would say, listen, President Trump asked this question. And oh, can you believe that he asked this question? He asked if there was any way that Mike Pence could stop the certification of the Electoral College on January 6th. And the media portrayed this as some kind of scandal that Trump had asked his attorneys if there was legal recourse in this area. And I thought to myself, so what? Is a president not allowed to ask a stupid question? Like, that's why you actually have in the White House, and I know that this is getting kind of specific, which has nothing to do with the video, but indulge me for a moment, because I think this illustrates my point the best way that I can think of. Inside the White House, for example, the president needs to have this trusted group of advisors around him so that he can bandy about stupid ideas in order to discern which are the stupid ideas and which are the good ideas. And sometimes that's really intuitive. Like, we know not to murder someone. Like, that doesn't need to be discussed. Yeah, don't murder someone. Cool. But there are some ideas that we're like, well, is minimum wage, raising the minimum wage, is that a good idea? Will that actually draw people out of poverty? Will it give them a so-called living wage? Or will the consequences of that policy do the opposite? Will it keep people in a cycle of poverty because it will make it harder for employees to hire people, which will make it harder for people to break out of the poverty they're experiencing right now? There are some ideas that aren't necessarily intuitive on their face. And so just the fact that we live in this culture where we can't discuss ideas is a dangerous place. So I'm not here to vilify Pearl Davis. I don't agree with a lot of what she says, but I want to engage in the court of public opinion with her ideas. This is so valuable, so valuable. I want to give you one more example before we dive into this. About 2 months ago, Dennis Prager was on some Daily Wire special with Jordan Peterson. I think they were talking about the Old Testament. And Dennis Prager, kind of out of nowhere, said that he didn't think that pornography was bad. And I think for a lot of us, myself included, this was kind of like a what? Dennis Prager doesn't think pornography is bad. Dennis Prager is supposed to be traditional. He's supposed to be religious. He's supposed to be someone who argues for morality in ordered society. What is he talking about? Pornography is so destructive on every single level. And when this happened in the conservative movement, the left didn't care at all. The left couldn't care less. The left generally is a supporter of pornography. But what happened on the right is exactly what should happen when someone presents an idea. And what happened is Matt Fradd, who hosts Pints with Aquinas, made a response video to Dennis Prager where he said, listen, this is what your idea is. Let me define what your idea is based on what you said. This is why it's wrong. And he made a very respectful video debunking Dennis Prager's view on pornography. You can go watch it. I highly recommend it. I watched both of them. And then Ben Shapiro jumped in. Ben Shapiro actually interviewed Matt Fradd to discuss Matt Fradd's video debunking Dennis Prager's argument. I think Matt Fradd actually had Dennis Prager on the show. It was a whole bunch of different iterations of people discussing this idea that Dennis Prager had presented, this idea that a lot of people in his own party thought was a repugnant idea or a misguided, ill-advised, destructive, dangerous idea. And it wasn't fighting. No one advocated to cancel Dennis Prager, even though his idea was, in my opinion, a very bad idea and a not well thought out solution to the problem of infidelity. That's not what we're going to talk about today, but it was such a cool thing that we don't often see anymore, where this idea was making the rounds and we were examining this idea from every different angle. And it was fun and it was awesome. And that's what I want to do today with this Pearl Davis video. This is not a personal beef with anyone. This is not me trying to demean someone. This is not me trying to vilify someone like the left has done to her and like the right has done to her. She's presented an idea and I want us to discuss it because young people are listening to her. When I say this video went viral, I mean it went super, super, super viral. You all have probably already seen it. You've probably seen all the headlines. You've probably seen all the responses. It impacts the way people think. Because when we exist in this cultural moment where even ideas are taboo, the reason that we exist in this moment is because the left that controls our culture, the left that controls our government, wants us to only be exposed to one idea, their idea. They have so little confidence in their idea. They are so insecure about their philosophy that they don't think that it would hold up if it was compared and contrasted to an alternative. So they only offer us one thing. They only offer young people one thing to think about. And when Pearl Davis comes along and she's kind of entertaining, she has a little bit of a weird presentation, but she's kind of entertaining. I understand why her videos, they're provocative, they're kind of entertaining. I understand why people might listen to her. She is diagnosing a problem in our society correctly, that modern feminism has really destroyed not just women, but the family unit, which is the fundamental bedrock of our society. And she's presenting an alternative viewpoint. And if it's just her viewpoint and what the radical left is telling us, then the correct take is being lost in the shovel. So I want to talk about the correct take. Let's get to this video where Pearl Davis makes the case that the 19th Amendment, which guarantees women the right to vote, should be repealed and women should not be allowed to vote. Let's take a listen.
All right, why women shouldn't vote? Yes, okay. A lot of people think I'm insane because I don't think women should vote. Everybody thinks I'm crazy for this opinion. If anything, this is probably my most extreme opinion. And I would like to tell you how I came to this conclusion. So what happened was I wanted to know why men were so angry about women. Why are there all these complaints about women? And when I started researching the stuff, it was pretty easy to figure out why. 90% of women have been on birth control. 1 out of 3 women has had an abortion. 1 out of 3 women has an STD. The average body count is over 5, so that your average wife has slept with over 5 people. 95% of women are not virgins on their wedding days. So I understand the complaint.
Okay, so you can see why this video is kind of provocative. First of all, she's having a good time presenting it. She's kind of charismatic. And she's addressing a couple of things which a lot of us relate to. I actually understand the complaint that she's talking about too. When she says the quality of women, she's actually not talking about the women themselves. She's talking about the quality of their behavior. And the quality of behavior in America is, of course, very low. The quality of behavior among men and women, especially when it comes to sex, sexual promiscuity, religion, monogamy in marriage, is extremely low. And that's not a good thing. It's a bad commentary, for lack of a better word, on our country and on our culture. Hi guys, it's Liz Wheeler. Don't forget to watch my show, The Liz Wheeler Show, every night at 7 p.m. on the First TV. You can download the free First TV app, or you can visit thefirsttv.com/Liz and start watching today.